Sky, my goodness gracious. Once again, celebrating Angel Reese's powerful double-double last night. We got a couple of things. We got a WNBA announcer actually clowning Angel Reese during the game. That normally doesn't happen. Did he not get the memo? You're not supposed to do that. I mean, players in this league check those boxes.
What happens when the brightest star plays so well that her numbers stand out on the box score every single night, yet the team around her keeps falling lower and lower? That is the strange reality surrounding Angel Reese, one of the most talked about young players in basketball right now.
The way people gamble on these games. So last night, a double-double. Angel Reese got a double-double, and the Chicago Sky, of course, celebrated said double-double. They lost 79-69. But my goodness, that didn't stop them, of course, from putting out this tweet right here. Player of the game. I mean, last time I checked, player of the games are usually for the winning squad.
On paper, she looks unstoppable because night after night, she pulls down rebounds like her hands are magnets, piling up double-doubles so consistently that it has become a story on its own. And to some fans, she already seems to be building her own legend. Angel Reese thrives on missed shots, turning offensive boards into second chances. But here is the problem. Her team, the Chicago Sky, keeps losing. And not just on the occasional off night, but with a record that looks more like a warning sign than a contender's sheet. They are dropping games left and right, often by double digits, and each loss feels heavier than the one before, creating a strange paradox where dominant individual numbers sit in the middle of constant team failure. And that mixes the perfect setup for criticism.
Oh my God. Clowned Angel Reese. They're going to put it up. They might miss. They're going to put it up again. They might miss that. And then finally, eventually, maybe they will make a bucket.
Normally, the way the league spins this is predictable. Highlight the player's individual greatness, push it all over social media, and hope fans ignore the loss column, because a double-double sounds good no matter what the scoreboard says, right? At least that has always been the strategy. But recently, something cut through the usual polite broadcast commentary and it set the internet on fire.
That's hilarious. This guy will probably be fired by tomorrow. This guy will probably lose his job by tomorrow. Once the Angel Reese fans hear the fact that he just roasted Angel Reese over her we-bounds, whatever she's calling them these days, yeah, they're going to come for him.
During yet another Sky defeat, an announcer did more than call the game. He called out Angel Reese herself, and it was not in a mild, analytical way, but in a live roast on air, with words that were sharp, sarcastic, and meant to sting, leaving fans at home, stunned and questioning if this was really happening in a WNBA broadcast booth. That is where the story takes off, because what followed was not just another box score debate, but a clash of narratives, the celebrated rookie phenom against the reality check of a frustrated announcer, and the fallout was pure chaos. But before the roast itself, you have to understand how deep Angel Reese's rebounding dominance really goes and why for some people those rebounds do not mean what they appear to mean. Because Angel Reese is not just collecting rebounds, she is redefining what it means to control the glass. Since her rookie debut, she has been on a tear, pulling down double-digit rebounds almost every night, with analysts comparing her work in the paint to legends of the game while pointing out how she positions her body, anticipates missed shots, and outmuscles opponents twice her size, showing that what she does is not luck, but pure instinct and effort. Her streak of double-doubles became so consistent it started making league history as she stacked them week after week like building blocks, breaking rookie records and forcing commentators to pay attention. And the Chi-Town Barbie, as fans call her, has never shied away from the dirty work under the rim. While some players build their legacy with highlight dunks or flashy threes, Angel has built hers on grit, outworking her matchup, chasing down loose balls, and turning rebounds into second chance points. Yet the uncomfortable truth remains that rebounds alone do not always translate into wins. Controlling the boards is one thing, but turning that into victories is another. And while Angel Reese's stat sheet often looks like it belongs to a superstar, the Chicago record has been nothing short of ugly. Fans have noticed, commentators have noticed, and opponents have noticed too, often with a smirk, because the frustration is not only about losing, but about the gap between celebrating individual dominance and ignoring the bigger picture. When a team sits near the bottom of the standings, fans start asking if those rebounds are truly helping or if they are just numbers that look good in a headline. And that was the backdrop for the viral roast when one announcer finally said what many people had only been whispering. But the way he said it went beyond critique and turned into a demolition job, the kind of sound bite that gets replayed, turned into memes, and argued about for weeks. Picture the scene: the sky are down again, the energy in the arena feels flat, and the broadcasters are filling dead air as usual by talking about individual stats. With Angel Reese once again posting another double-double. On paper, it looked impressive. But instead of praising her outright, the announcer took a completely different turn, and with a smirk in his voice, he delivered a line that made viewers sit up straight, saying that Angel Reese loves those missed shot, offensive boards, and second opportunities. And if Chicago is going to beat you, that is how they will do it, by putting it up, missing, putting it up again, maybe missing again, but eventually getting a bucket. What followed was silence, then laughter, not from the booth, but from fans at home who could not believe what they had just heard, because the announcer was openly accusing Angel Reese of padding her rebounding stats by bricking her own shots. And he was not even subtle about it. His tone dripped with sarcasm, like he had been waiting for this chance all game. And while most broadcasters avoid this level of bluntness because they know players watch replays and social media will slice their words into viral clips, this time there was no holding back. The roast went beyond Angel. It targeted the Sky's entire identity, with the clear implication that Chicago is so bad offensively their best strategy is to miss shots so Angel Reese can grab rebounds until they finally stumble into a basket, a critique as brutal as it was unforgettable. Fans immediately took sides, and within hours the moment spread across Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, where memes flooded in and the clip was replayed nonstop, with some laughing at the bluntness while others were outraged and accused the announcer of disrespecting one of the hardest working young stars in the league. On one side, critics argued that he was not wrong, saying those rebounds were not leading to wins and calling them empty stats, even comparing her to past players who piled up numbers without changing their team's fortunes, with some labeling her the WNBA's version of NBA stat padding bigs who looked good on paper but never carried a team. On the other side, loyal Angel Reese supporters pushed back, pointing out her lack of help, reminding everyone that rebounding is one of the toughest skills in the game, and saying dismissing her effort was disrespectful to her work ethic. They argued she is still a rookie adjusting to the league while carrying a weak roster on her back, asking what more people expect her to do: score, rebound, defend, and run the offense all at once. One fan summed it up with a post that went viral, and the sharp split between critics and supporters only fueled more conversation, with every hot take, every argument, and every meme drawing more attention to Angel Reese and ironically making her an even bigger figure in the league's storylines. Love her or hate her, people were talking, and in today's sports world, being the center of attention is its own kind of power. But beneath all the noise, one real question began to surface. Do Angel Reese's rebounds mean anything if the Chicago Sky keep losing? And if they don't, who is really at fault, the player or the team built around her? This is where it gets tricky, because basketball at its core is about more than raw numbers. Since a player can score 30 in a loss and it does not matter, or grab 20 rebounds only for the other team to shoot 50% from the field, making those numbers meaningless without context. In Angel Reese's case, the context is harsh, because even with her constant double-doubles, the Sky hold one of the worst records in the league, with an offense that sputters and a defense full of holes, and while her presence in the paint is undeniable, it has not been enough to change their fate. The announcer's roast may have sounded brutal, but it touched on that truth, because celebrating rebounds in the middle of constant losses feels hollow, like putting a ribbon on a trash can and calling it a gift, where the wrapping looks nice, but the substance underneath has not changed, and fans recognize it. That is why the criticism sticks, because deep down even Reese's biggest supporters cannot deny the team is not winning, and in sports winning cures everything, while without Every stat gets picked apart. Yet here is the flip side. What more can Angel Reese really do? As a rookie playing her heart out every night and doing her job at an elite level, is it fair to put the entire team's failures on her shoulders? Or is she simply the easiest target? Because she is the most visible, those are the questions swirling around the league, and Angel herself has not stayed silent about the criticism. If you know Angel Reese, you know she thrives on the noise. This is the same player who famously called her rebounds meows to claim her own style, and the same player who leaned into the villain role after heated clashes with rivals like Caitlin Clark. She is not afraid to clap back, not afraid to embrace the hate, and never afraid to turn criticism into motivation, which is part of her allure, because she does not play the safe superstar role but talks her talk, stands by it, and owns the spotlight whether it is flattering or not. In today's sports culture, that kind of unapologetic authenticity is magnetic, and when an announcer takes a shot at her, she is not brushing it off but storing it, planning her response, maybe not on Twitter or in a press conference, but in the way she plays the next game. Angel Reese is the type of player who lives to prove people wrong, and that is why this story is not going away, because criticism does not weaken her, it only amplifies her. Every slight becomes another piece of fuel. But the bigger question still hangs in the air. Can that energy actually translate into wins for a team that looks broken? This is where the Chicago Sky come in, because this is not just an Angel Reese problem. It is a franchise problem, with the team sitting near the bottom of the standings and carrying a record that screams dysfunction. They have battled injuries, inconsistent lineups, and questionable roster moves. While their offense looks stagnant, their defense collapses, and too often, the game plan seems to rely on Angel grabbing the rebound, which is not a formula for championships or even playoff spots. Fans are frustrated and calling for management to surround Reese with real help, with scoring options, defensive anchors, and leadership, because right now it feels like Angel is playing one-woman basketball, and no matter how great she is, no one can win that way. The announcer's roast, harsh as it was, exposed that uncomfortable truth, showing that celebrating double-doubles is little more than a distraction tactic, because while the Sky's social media may post highlight graphics, the losses keep piling up, and eventually fans stop buying the spin. The crisis is clear. Angel Reese cannot save this team alone, and unless something changes, her incredible rebounding streak may go down as one of the most bittersweet runs in league history, which leaves us with the question of where things go from here. Angel Reese keeps stacking rebounds, the Sky keeps stacking losses, and the league keeps buzzing over whether her dominance is a blessing or just a mirage. The announcer's roast will live on as one of those viral sound bites that perfectly capture a moment, harsh, yes, unfair, maybe, but unforgettable without a doubt. And sometimes that alone is enough to shift a narrative. The real question is what happens next. Does Angel Reese rise above the criticism to prove she is more than just a rebound machine? Does Chicago finally build a team worthy of her effort? Or will she stay stuck in a cycle of highlight stats and lowlight losses? One thing is certain, love her or hate her, Angel Reese refuses to be ignored. And if she has her way, this will not be the story people remember, but instead the setup for something much bigger. Because in basketball, just like in life, the numbers never tell the whole story.